Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my second review that I'm going to be dubbing My Little Reviews. I know it sounds kind of stupid, I just was random and thought of a random thing. But today I'm going to be reviewing the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Season 4 because I decided to start with that season because I love that season the most and it's the season that I think is the best. So, using my reviewing scale, which remember goes 1 to 100, the higher the number, the worse the episode or season or show, whatever it is how bad it is. First, I'm going to be starting off talking about the episodes individually, and at the end, I'll give a review of how good that I think the whole entire season is. So I'll say my rating for the episode or episodes combined if it's like a season opener, season ender, or whatever, and then I'll just say that and I'll tell you how good that is, and then I'll say how good the season is at the end. I have a list here that I need to look off of, but the first and second episode, which I'm going to kind of combine, is called Princess Twilight Sparkle Part 1 and 2. And basically, Twilight has become a princess scene in Season 3 ending, where they kind of have just said she's become a princess and everything. And I'm not really going to go into detail about it because some of these are really good, or if it's bad, I'll talk about it in the next review. But right now, if I had to rate it, I think I would give this episode maybe a 22 out of 100 because it's good and all, it kind of gets the point across, but it tends to drag a little bit, and I don't really like how it does that. But the next episode is the third episode, Castlemania, with Mania for some reason. But basically, it's Twilight and Spike go to the castle of the two sisters, which is Celestia's old castle, and talk about that they're going to be kind of looking through to try to find out what the Tree of Harmony and the keys and whatever it is seen in the last two episodes. I kind of don't understand that premise right now, but that's how it goes so far. Basically, they think there's the Pony of Shadows, who is some ghost pony that's really kind of bad and is altogether really bad and everything. But it's not very bad so far, and what I had to rate this episode is probably a 20 out of 100, basically. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there, but I would rate it 20 out of 100 just because of it. Since it's a shorter time span, it doesn't tend to drag very much. There are some good jokes here and there, but it's not one that I would recommend a lot. Next episode is called Daring Do, and it brings back that Daring Do, the character who talks about the books written by, and they're called A.K. Yearling. Basically, it's almost like a whole thing that Daring Do is actually a real character and everything, and it's almost like Indiana Jones style. Now, to get across this one quick, if I had to rate this, I would actually rate it a 30 out of 100 because I really don't like Indiana Jones and I really don't like this episode. And I might go over this in a previous video coming up to kind of say how I don't really like it that much. But next is Flight to the Finish. Basically, Rainbow Dash is in a routine or whatever with they have to do the flag carriers, and it takes place with Rainbow Dash is the main person that Apple Bloom, Sweetie Belle, and Scootaloo need to impress, and it goes on that Scootaloo is trying to push Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle too hard, and basically it kind of just goes into one thing. Scootaloo drops out and says that she's not working with them again, But in the end, they all get together and kind of impress them and everything. And they win the flag pulling thing or whatever they had to do. And I would actually rate this a 18 out of 100 because I really like this episode. I like how the Cutie Mark Crusaders are brought back and everything, and it's really just a really cool concept to have them back, and it plays into the story, and that's more that the story goes into. The next episode is Power Ponies. Basically, Spike and all the main six find themselves trapped in a comic book, and they are the basically power ponies who are superheroes and beat down this character that I really don't like. I can't even remember her name. But, it's the Maniac. And basically they just have to take her down before she takes apart like the whole world or something in the comic book world. And if I had to rate this, I would rate it a 50 out of 100 because I really hate this episode so much. I've never really liked superheroes. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, but this one's kind of the worst that I've seen so far. I'll be talking about that later in almost like a really bad, why I think this is really bad, and there's like one or two good things, but why I think it's bad overall. But the next episode is called Bats, and it's basically the vampire fruit bats come to the Sweet Apple Acres, and in desperation to try to get rid of them, Fluttershy uses the stare on the bats, while Twilight performs a spell that turns the bats to not like apples anymore, not be addicted to them. But then Fluttershy gets that power, and she takes over the apples and kind of tries to eat all of the apples and stuff. And then basically, at the end, she seems back to normal, but she has this really cute little vampire fang that I just think is adorable for her. And if I had to rate this episode, I would rate it actually a 13 out of 100 because I really like this episode, but I have seen some that are better than this, which there's one down the road that's really good and really a lot better. Next episode is Rarity Takes Manhattan. Basically, Rarity goes over to Manhattan to try to impress this one person who is like a fashion designer, because she's always trying to do that. And someone steals her idea with some fabric that she has and basically turns it into her entire line. And Rarity gets mad, and then she has to think of a way to basically just impress her, and then she gets her friends to do it, and then just a whole bunch of stuff goes on and on. Now, this episode, so I'm not dragging on about this, I would rate this episode probably a 13 as well out of 100, because I really like this episode. I really like the character Rarity. I really like Rarity. But I think she's a really good character in this. It's nice to see that she has kind of gone out with this and is really cool. The next episode is called Pinky Apple Pie. And before I go into detail with this episode is rated 1 out of 100. It's one of the best I've seen. Well, actually, 1 out of 100. It's just really awesome. And basically, it's Pinkie Pie finds out that she could be related to the apples, and she goes on this whole road trip, and there's some songs and stuff to try to find out. And in the end, they find out that they don't know for sure, because the page that Goldie Delicious has is smudged, like the papers that Twilight had were smudged, and they never find out, but she considers herself now as an apple. The next episode is called Rainbow Falls. Basically, Rainbow Dash wants to join the team for the Wonderbolts to practice for the games or whatever it is, instead of with Ponyville. And after Soren crashes and enters his wing, Rainbow Dash is filling in for him without telling Ponyville and going back and forth between them. And she pretends to be hurt so she doesn't have to make up a decision. But really, she shouldn't have and everything, but in the end, Ponyville qualifies and all that. And I have to rate this episode a 20 out of 100 again because I like this episode. It's okay, it gets the point across, but I don't really like how the Ponyville games, the concept together. It kind of just feels like they were trying to, I don't know, feels like they were kind of trying to get along with the story. That was 10 of the episodes reviewed in my My Little Pony Season 4 review, and I'm actually going to make this a 2-part or 3-part or whatever it is, but this will be continued in the next review. So, bye!